Hello there! Today I will show you how to model the twisted bridge located at the Kistefos Sculpture Park in Norway by Bjarke Ingels. Let's begin! After loading the plan in section drawings in Rhino, which you can get from internet, I scale them to the right size and place them accordingly, so I can use them as reference to create the main two volumes, which will be connected by the twisted geometry. Then I explode them and get rid of these two surfaces, so I can type blend surface in the command line and select these two edges. Then a small window will pop up. Here I can specify the type of blending, but now I'm gonna work with the standard preset and press in OK. So now the two edges will be connected with this surface here. And now I repeat the same for the other three sides, always picking the extremes of the edges so that the blending works. And once done, I reveal the surfaces with the command revealed and a subdivision of 6 for the U and 25 for the V values. This to have them in a better resolution, which I will need for later. For the next step, I check first how the windows look from the reference images, and then draw them with lines in the surfaces from one side, and in the other side I'll draw the lines to subdivide the top surface. Then I split the surfaces like this. Now I hide this surface for a second so I can blend these other two edges to get this new surface. Then I will extract the border with the command duplicate border and explode it so I can have 4 independent curves. Now I type show to see again the surface I previously hid, and I use these two curves to split it. Here I select and assign the translucent surfaces to the layer 3D glass, so they are visually recognizable as translucent. And it looks like this. And also I can now already delete the surface I used before. And that's it. No, I'm kidding. What's missing here is the facade. And for that, first I'm going to adjust this roof to have it as one surface. Then with the command join, I will make a poly surface from all the opaque surfaces. Now I grab it and I type offset surface to get the wall thickness towards the interior with a value of 0.3. Once done, I can apply the command contour, then select the geometry, specify the direction and the distance of 0.4. Then after waiting a bit, I get the cutting lines, which I later extrude as a solid with the value of 0.4 again, and it's done. Now I move it to the layer facade here, and I turn on the layer glass. And here we have it, looking quite similar to the original design, isn't it? But now I'm gonna model it a bit differently. I'm gonna give it a twist, if you wanna call it like that. First, I will create the two volumes, and then I reshape them differently so that the profile has 5 sides instead of having only 4. In that way, the roof will get some inclination, different from the original roof, which is actually flat. Then I continue with blending the edges one by one like I did before, and also rebuilding the surfaces. Next, I draw the openings here for the front with an offset of 1.3, and I continue to the side with that reference. Then join the curves, and with split I will separate the translucent surfaces apart and assign them to the layer 3D glass. Now I'm going to extract the ISO curve from this surface to get the reference line, which will help me defining the opening of the window at the opposite volume. Once I have the polyline, I will split the surface and assign the translucent surface to the layer 3D glass. Here I will split the surface with this curve, then I hide this surface for a second, and I will blend these two glass edges to get this reference surface, from which I will extract this edge curve from below. Then I turn on the surface I previously hid, and I split it with this curve, and then I will assign the surface to the glass layer. Now I'm going to repeat the same for the other side. First I draw the openings, then I will split the surface, and I will assign the translucent surfaces to the glass layer. Now I will blend these two edges here, then extract these two curves that will help me to split the glass surface. Then I assign this also to the glass layer, and almost done. But looking good already here. Let's continue with the facade, but first I will delete this surface here. Then I will join all the opaque surfaces to have this poly surface. Now using contour, I will get the cutting lines every 0.4 meters, which then I will extrude in this direction, again with 0.4, and it looks like this. Almost done! Now I will cap this geometry at the extreme and hide it, because now I'm going to apply the offset surface to the rest, towards the interior, and with the value of 0.3. And after waiting a bit, I will get the result. Then I will assign this to the layer 3D facade, and to finalize I will turn on the glass layer. As you see, by applying the same logic, I got this different result, which has windows from both sides and a gable roof. Also, the interior looks a bit more spacious in comparison to the original design. So which one do you prefer? I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe if you wanna see more. Take care. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.